peculiar position that he's in, meaning now he realizes that he's being used to wake up a nation of people. He's seeing that peculiar position that he's in. What was you about to say?
I want to get through some more videos.
Oh, yeah. So in this whole thing, part of what he touched on was he touched on the anti-Semitism, right? So I want to go and look at what is the new definition. There is a definition, and then there's a new definition, right? Let's look at the new definition. Pull up that where it says what is anti-Semitism.
Man, you mean these people got the power to change the definitions in the dictionary?
They sure do, man. They cold with it.
Man, Ye was right. Ye was right about everything.
The brother that was speaking earlier, he said devil. He was right.
Yeah,
what does devil mean? Deceiver.
Deceiver.
That's right. Yeah. All right, let that rock.
It's a video?
No, not the video. It's just the article itself. We're gonna read through it.
This is from the International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance about what is anti-Semitism? Non-legally binding working definition of anti-Semitism.
Now notice what they said, non-legally binding. However, in California, they just recently made it a law.
Right.
So this is a law they're trying to pass. So on one end, they're saying this is not legally binding, but it's not legally binding to them. In other words, they can switch it up whenever they want to.
The hell is this?
Would that be correct, officer?
Say the last
when they say that it's non-legally binding, it's saying it's not legally binding to them, right?
Right. It just depends on which court you're in or which jurisdiction.
But would they make that statement saying that it's not legally binding to them or not legally binding to the person reading it?
I don't know. I'm going to just tell you I don't know.
Okay. All right.
Ready?
Yeah. Go ahead.
The IHRA is the only intergovernmental organization mandated to focus solely on Holocaust-related issues. So with evidence that excuse me, I can't see that. Bro, that far. Blow it up. There you go. Scroll it up. There we go. The IHRA is the only intergovernmental organization mandated to focus solely on Holocaust-related issues. So with evidence that the scourge of anti-Semitism is once again on the rise, we resolve to take a leading role in combating it. But to begin to address the problem of anti-Semitism, there must be clarity about what anti-Semitism is. The experts in the IHRA's Committee on Anti-Semitism and Holocaust Denial built international consensus around a non-legally binding working definition of anti-Semitism, which was then adopted by the plenary. By doing so, the IHRA set an example of responsible conduct for other international fora and provided an important practical tool for its member countries.
All right, where are we at right now?
The third paragraph.
The
working definition.
Okay, all right. Yeah, so let's go down. Let's go down to the portion that just says adopt the following non-legally binding inside the box.
Okay.
Yep, let's read that.
Adopt the following non-legally binding working definition of anti-Semitism.
So this is the non-legally binding working definition of anti-Semitism. Let's see what they say.
Anti-Semitism is a certain perception of Jews.
So they're saying it's anti-Semitic to have a certain perception. So you can't even perceive nothing about the Jews. This is the beginning of anti-Semitism to them.
Perception, go back. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Another word for perception is opinion.
It's an opinion.
Right. You can't even have an opinion about them.
Or a judge, or a judgment.
Or a judgment, right. A thought that says anything about, they like, don't even think about us, bro. Just let us do what we do.
Right.
Don't even think about it.
Right. If you think about me, you better wake up and
Apologize.
Right. Crazy, bro. Go ahead.
Feel like they taking my lunch money, man, and I can't do nothing about it.
They are.
Right. Anti-Semitism is a certain perception of Jews which may be expressed as hatred toward Jews.
But who is it that determines whether it's expressed as hatred towards Jews? Them.
They do. Right.
Go ahead.
Rhetorical and physical manifestations of anti-Semitism are directed towards Jewish or non-Jewish individuals and or their property, toward Jewish community institutions and religious facilities.
So that's the new definition of anti-Semitism for them, right? Let's go and see the ancient one. Bishop pulled this one out. It came out of a dictionary but we can find it online. Let's go out of this. Let's go to the bottom of the channel and pull up the old definition of what anti-Semitic meant. Bishop pulled it out of an old dictionary. I wish I had a screenshot of that joint.
Even though that non-legally binding one, right? Even though it's not even binding right now, right?
Right.
They still got the ADL to back them up.
Yes, absolutely.
Because that's the NAACP for them.
That's what defamation means.
Yeah.
You cannot
exactly.
defame us in any way.
So check it out. To be legally binded or non-legally binded, if it's non-legally binded, that means it can't be enforced in the court. But guess what? The media will still use that definition and say, hey, we putting you on trial. Because it's something that's new called a trial by media.
Right.
And that's what everybody been getting lately.
That's what they've been doing. Kanye, that's what they did to Bill Cosby. That's what they did to Nick Cannon.
Trial by media.
Yeah, they got the power to do that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know what else they called it too? The court of public opinion.
Yes.
So they try to sway people's mind towards it.
Right.
This is the definition of Semitic, relating to or denoting a family of languages that includes Hebrew, Arabic, and Aramaic, and certain ancient languages such as Phoenician and Akkadian, constituting the main subgroup of the Afro-Asiatic family.
So if you are Afro-Asiatic, you can't be anti-Semitic.
Right.
That's why they changed it.
That's why they had to change it. Because here it's saying that Semitic or Semitism would go towards the Asiatic or the people of Hebrew, Arabic, Aramaic languages, Phoenicians, Akkadians, constituting the main subgroup of the Afro-Asiatic people. What does the second one say?
Definition 2, relating to the peoples who speak Semitic languages, especially Hebrew and Arabic.
So how can you be anti-Semitic and change this to a legal statement at all if you're anybody outside of Jewish?
Right.
Right? Like the Israeli people should not be able to take this and say this is anti-Semitism. Why? Because then you would have to include that for anybody that said something against the Arabs, anybody that speaks a Hebraic language at all. And guess what? All language came out of Hebrew. Now, everybody's not Semitic, so don't nobody twist my words acting like I'm saying everybody's Semitic. No, if you come out of Shem, you are a Semitic people. And Hebrew it goes all the way back to original language. But all languages come from one. That's why God had to confound the languages at the Tower of Babel. But that's a whole nother history discussion, though. All right. So let's come out of that. So that's anti-Semitism. Again, I wish I had that. No,
that was good stuff right there, though. That was good stuff. Seeing how they changed the game on us. They try to move the goalposts every time we try to step up, but it's not going to work this time. The Most High plays chess.
You'd have to cancel everybody that's part of the Semites, bro. You'd have to cancel everybody.
Chinese people.
Right.
Japanese people.
You can't cancel, and you damn sure can't cancel us because the word of God will not be canceled.
That's right.
Will not be canceled.
Hey, my bad, real quick, officer. Hey, Esau really crafty because remember they did the same thing with the definition of woolly hair.
Right.
They used to say belonging to the Negroes.
Right.
Now don't say what is a scientific deformation or something like that.
Yeah.
Right.
It's an anomaly.
Right.
Yeah, it's a scientific anomaly.
Right.
All right, let's go to the video with Jason Whitlock now. Let's go to the video with Jason Whitlock. I got timestamp on there. And let's deal with that timestamp.
Hey,
Let's
man,
see what he
somebody
says.
need to get this brother a fly. But he said he ain't no Hebrew Israelite. But I don't know, bro. Maybe he being crafty because he's been on our side lately.
Yeah.
And he normally be poo-pooing on his people. You know what I mean? If you understand what I'm saying. You know?
Right.
Lately, he been talking some good
He
stuff.
been on point?
Is that it? Yeah, he been on point. Go ahead and play it.
Let that play.
I'm not a Hebrew Israelite. Sunday night, following the Grizzlies-Nets game, a reporter asked Kyrie if he would take responsibility for the 1,000 or so Hebrew Israelites.
How many did he say?
1,000.
The 1,000 or so. Right. But what was the Edomite reporter saying?
A few hundred. 100.
Yeah, he said 100, maybe more, possibly more. There was another article that came out that said a few dozen.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. 5 dozen.
A few dozen.
It's funny at this point. That's crafty, bro.
Let it play.
If he would take responsibility for the 1,000 or so Hebrew Israelites protesting outside the Barclays Center. Irving declined to answer the question. Irving did not cause the protest. Brooklyn Nets owner Joseph Tsai caused the protest when he suspended Irving for tweeting a movie poster. Had Tsai and Adam Silver ignored Irving's harmless tweet and respected his free speech, there would be no controversy.
Hey, Kyrie. There was a group of about 100 people outside wearing the shirt of a group called Israel United in Christ, a group labeled as a hate group by the Southern Poverty Law Center. They were outside in support of you and handing out anti-Semitic literature on the plaza to people walking by. And I was wondering if I can get your reaction to that.
I didn't see it. What happened? There was a group outside?
There was a group outside, 100, possibly more. They were wearing a shirt called Israel United in Christ. They're a group labeled as a hate group by the
I think that's a conversation for another day. I'm just here to focus on the game.
That's right.
That's right. He done got wiser. Y'all done made my brother wiser.
Right. But I said this whole time that you didn't know what kind of like.
Hey, pause it. Let him make his point. Look
at his hat. The only point I want to make is look at his hat.
Yeah, go ahead.
Organic Negro. The original Jew, baby. That's us. We're the Israelites that the Bible speaks of. We the organic.
But you said something. I was just say they done made them wiser. Now, listen to what the Bible say. Let me get a scripture real quick. Get Sirach chapter 20 and verse. We're gonna read 6 and 7.
Because wisdom deal with you in crooked ways, and then after a while starts to walk straight with you. That's wisdom.
Let me see.
The book of Sirach,
verse 5.
The book of Sirach, chapter 20 and verse 5. There is one that keepeth silence, and is found wise.
And is found what?
Wise.
And is found wise. Read on.
And another, by much babbling, becometh hate.
Because you don't know how to control what it is that you say. You just, whatever come to mind, you just say it. You don't weigh your words in the balance. Read the next verse.
Some man holdeth his tongue because he hath not to answer. And some keepeth silence, knowing his time.
That's why he said we'll talk about that another time.
Right.
Exactly. That's why he keeping silence about it, because he know that right now ain't the time to speak on it. They're gonna speak about basketball.
Right.
That's right.
Let us do the let the Israelites do the speaking.
Right.
Let Israel United in Christ do the speaking.
That's right. And they calling the name finally.
Yeah.
Israel United in Christ.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
All praises for that.
Go ahead.
Kyrie, but you've said this whole time that you didn't know what kind of like what kind of voice you had, but if these are the people that are out here in your name, do you feel like that's a consequence of what you've done?
Pause. You got to think about the way he phrased that question. Do you think them being here is a consequence of what you done?
Right.
Making you believe that it's a bad thing that we out here.
Right.
A consequence. Hey.
It's a bad thing for black unity.
Right. This is your fault that they're unifying.
Right. Hey, also notice how damn disrespectful Esau is.
Yeah.
He already said, I don't want to talk about this. I'm here to play basketball.
Right.
This is a post-basketball game interview.
Right.
Why you still asking me these questions? That's disrespectful.
So you don't know how many points he scored, how many assists. Right. I don't even know who won.
Hey, me either. Yeah. Right.
Hey, but they were so pissed about us being outside that they couldn't watch the game. They probably didn't know his stats for the night, bro.
Right.
They probably didn't know whether they won or not, bro. They were so pissed that they couldn't wait to get to that interview and let their fumes out and they venom out against him in that interview to try to spark something else up.
Man, that white boy sounds scared to me. You know how
he's scared.
White boy's scared.
Hey, he's supposed to be scared.
Yeah. He don't be scared. Just the fear of us being together.
Did y'all also,
Jacob,
yes, sir.
It sparks fear in them when we together, bro.
You're absolutely right. Did y'all also peep the disrespectful tone that he referred us in, though?
Yeah.
Did you you think it's your fault that those people were outside? He's saying those people,
right?
Like it's some derogatory thing.
That's right.
Good point.
Just regular old working class black men that decided to stand up for our brother. Those people.
Right.
Hey, he could have said Israel United in Christ because they already said it. But he said, like you said, those people.
He hated it.
And so listen, real quick, officer, real quick.
Yeah.
And
go ahead. But hey, bring up the next video and cue it because we're gonna touch on something he said in this. Go ahead.
So a lot of people don't understand. Even though this is Kyrie had sparked something when Ye had threw him an assist, all we did was dunk the ball. Right. So whatever Kyrie and Ye do from now on, just as long as they keep the commandments, but we push this thing anyway. Whether they in the truth or out the truth, we do what we do.
That's right.
That's right.
It.
Yeah, that's right. Hey, but the truth is we were out there in support of the truth.
Right.
That's what the support was about. It was about the truth coming out, and we gonna push it to the four corners of the earth, especially when it's being broadcast at that level. We gonna continue to push it. All right. So something that he said in that video, he said that it wasn't Kyrie's fault that this thing spread the way it spread. It was the owner's fault for overreacting to the fact that he retweeted a poster of it, a picture of the poster. So he said it was his fault, right? Deacon Asaph, a couple of Sabbaths ago, did a show about what we're about to bring up. It's called the Streisand effect. So in about 1 minute, we're going to learn what that Streisand effect is. For those of y'all that might not have watched it, go and watch it. But this is in brief exactly what happened when they overreacted to what Kyrie shared. Let that play.
What is it about seeing a meme that says, "Do not look up the Spirit of St. Louis airport code," that makes me want to look it up so bad? Don't worry, I'll tell you in a second. It's actually a weird phenomenon called the Streisand effect, where the attempt to suppress something actually brings more attention to it. The name comes from an incident where Barbra Streisand tried to sue a photographer to get a photo of her house off of the internet. But the internet, being the internet, decided to share it everywhere. You see this all the time, with Samsung trying to suppress the information about its phones exploding, or North Korea when they tried to threaten Sony if they released the movie The Interview, or when books get banned. Like, sure, I have no interest in killing mockingbirds, but tell me the book's being banned? Give me a shotgun. I'll put together the book club myself. Chances are, if they just don't react to people mentioning it, very few people would care. But because they tried to suppress it, it makes people more curious. Oh, the Spirit of St. Louis airport code is sus. You're welcome.
Right there. So what happened is their overreaction to the situation caused everybody to want to see why would they react so harshly towards him.
Right.
You know whose move that was, right? That was nobody but the Most High.
Most High.
That was because he hardened their hearts the same way that he did Pharaoh in Egypt, to the point that the more that they got hateful about it, the more that it was heightened. Now, people from around the world are tweeting about this, and like you were saying, sports stations and all types of stations that would not even mention Israelites doing what we were doing are now speaking about us in frequently, extreme frequentness.
Right.
So they turned it on themselves by trying to suppress what was going on, which is what they did with Chicago,
right?
Which is what they did with Memphis,
right? Mm-hmm.
But it was the time of the Most High God that he said, this is the time that I'm going to make it spread the way I want to.
Right.
Give me Isaiah 49:6, I think it is.
Oh,
Isaiah
praise.
49:6, I think is the one that I want. Isaiah 49:6, yep. Because Kyrie is realizing what his purpose is. Watch what the Most High said.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 49 and verse 6. And he said, "It is a light thing that thou shouldest be my servant, to raise up the tribes of Jacob."
That's the peculiar position that Kyrie is beginning to realize he's in. God said it is a light thing. You know how light it is? Watch this. Hey, just tweet the poster. Let me show you something. Tweet the poster. Next thing you know, 1 million, 2 million, 3 million views later, and 1,000 Israelite prophets on the streets of New York. A few weeks later, now there's millions of views to videos of people that would not even mention the Israelites in their podcast and on their platform. The Most High said it's a light thing for me to make that happen, to show you that you're a servant to help raise up the 12 tribes of Israel. Finish reading that?
And to restore the preserved of Israel.
And to restore the preserved of Israel. That's what's happening. And they hate that. And that Streisand effect worked because the Most High said it's time.
Right.
It's time.
They played their hand.
Hey, have y'all noticed something? Have y'all heard anything from the apologetics?
No.
Nothing.
No.
Where they been?
It might be coming
Nicer.
And they in the background doing something. Hey, you know they ain't letting
They
up.
cooking up something.
They cooking up
a
something.
documentary or something.
Right. Hey,
Yeah, the Jude 3 project.
Right.
Hey, Minister Chris asking right now, what are we going to do, Mark? Mr. Mark, what are we going to do?
right.
Is it something we can do?
Yeah, right.
Sit your ass down.
Right. You was done with that one?
Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Go to John 11:48. John 11:48.
Bring it
because what you
out.
got to see right now, Esau really in a tough position. And if they keep talking about it, guess what? Then people gonna start to see all them start to see everything in the media. But if they shut up, then let's see what's gonna happen. Read.
John chapter 11 and verse 48. If we let him thus alone, all men will believe on him.
So they understand, just like the scribes and the Pharisees did. Hey, if we don't say nothing, we're gonna have 3 million Negroes outside protesting. We ain't gonna be able to chastise none of them.
Right.
So they really in a lose-lose situation.
Yeah.
Hey, the Lord is a master chess player, man.
Master chess player.
We got men with us, man. This is little sissy boys in them churches, man. We got
Yeah,
men with us.
yeah, absolutely.
Hey, listen, man. If y'all brothers out there listening, man, come on, repent, come out these
Hey,
churches, man.
let's give a hand clap for all the brothers that showed up,
praise to the
man.
Most High. And join the army
Showed
of
up for
God.
that march, man. All praises to the Most High, man.
Yeah, man.
All praises to the Most High, man. All praises. Hey, but look, again, so that caused an effect, right? This next video is going to show part of that effect because who they chasing now? Now they after Chappelle.
Oh, yeah, good point.
Yep.
Yeah,
Now they after Chappelle. Chappelle, you know, the stuff that he said was so smart, it was ridiculous when you listen to that monologue. But if you notice, though, they not trying to say a whole lot about that monologue. They said a little bit.
Yeah.
But they've been careful in how much they say because they like, we don't want them to go finish watching that. But that's all right. Hey, cat's out the bag, bro.
Right.
All right, let this play.
Yeah, I didn't have my reading glasses on. I didn't know who that group was, but my instincts when I first saw that video is that I come from a community torn every day by systemic representation of systemic representations and imageries of violence in our community. So when I saw that video, it struck a chord just for different reasons. You know, I saw a large group of people from our community showing support for him and his return. So me being proud of that support and being proud of our community, you know, for doing that does not mean I endorse or celebrate some of the things that were being done or being said. Like in my community, you know, we just lost one of our icons and one of my neighborhood heroes in Takeoff from issues that I think stem from representations of, you know, violence in our communities. So my instincts when I saw that was I didn't notice which group it was. I just noticed the support, and that's what I commented on. And I reemphasized I don't think that, you know, everything that is said or being done is something that I endorse or represent. But in the future, you know, when I'm a father, I'm not yet. I would like, you know, my son or daughter to see more representations of people of color, brown people and black people standing together on issues, rather than seeing, you know, images of violence in our media, in our music, in our movies that we don't entirely promote or profit from. You know, those are my thoughts, and I think that any media group or person.
Yep, let's let it go. So right there, notice what that brother is saying. I want my sons and my daughters not to see the images of us acting like niggas in the streets. No, I want to see positive images for my sons and my daughters because this is not, you know, y'all just took somebody away. He's saying that we would have called the leader. Now, we know the rappers are not our leaders, but he's saying, though, this is somebody that in the position that he was in, imagine if he was in that same position, but he's telling you to marry the woman that you're interested in before sleeping with her.
Right.
Get a job and teach your household. And God, imagine if he was actually teaching a righteous message.
Right.
He's saying this guy would have been somebody very important in our community. Instead, we saw him fall to the violence that's prevalent in our community, and we don't like to see that no more.
Right.
Look, I'm gonna tell you how important imagery is, because I was there, right? And the people in New York, they are to themselves. They just want to get from point A to point B.
Right.
Everybody walk with their head down. They don't make no eye contact. They don't speak to you, no nothing.
Mm-hmm.
When we were walking up to getting ready to line up, right? A woman stopped me as I was walking across the road, the crosswalk. She stopped in the middle of the street, and she said, excuse me, what are y'all doing? I got 2 sons in the back, and I want them to see what it is that y'all doing. So I told the lady to come up here where we was at and park and watch what we was doing. That's what imagery do. Imagery will wake you up from what it is. You were trying to go to point B. It'll stop you from going to point B to want to know what's going on when that positive imagery is happening.
That's
stop. This is the way.
This is the way.
It's powerful.
Yeah.
Yep.
Was
Nah, I didn't have nothing else.
I thought you was quoting something.
Yeah, I quoted the scripture, but we keep pushing. I know we pushing for break time.
All right, well, I ain't trying to suppress your voice or nothing like that.
I got it if you want.
Yeah, go ahead. We go to break after this.
Isaiah chapter 30, verse 20. And though the Lord give you the bread of adversity and the water of affliction, yet shall not thy teachers be removed into a corner anymore.
So guess what? The Lord said He's not gonna allow His prophets to be hid no more.
That's right.
That's why we on every. That's why we trending on every platform.
Right.
The Lord said no more. Read.
But thine eyes shall see thy teachers.
Guess what? Whether it's a woman stopping in the street, whether it's some 12-year-old just scrolling on YouTube or TikTok, guess what? The Lord said He gonna cause for our people to see they teachers.
That's right.
That's right.
And thine ears shall hear a word behind thee saying, this is the way, walk ye in it.
That's exactly what you told the sister. Hey, she said, what y'all doing? You said, hey, come over here. We finna show you.
Exactly.
Right.
That's right. All praises to
Powerful.
the Most High.
Powerful.
Yes, sir. Hey, look. Hey, Israel. Y'all hold tight. We're going to take a short break, but when we come back, we're going to deal with some of the history, again, showing that we know that we are the true Jews and that they are not. All right? You're tuned in to In the Scripts.
Reloaded.
Cruise control, look at the glow, amazing, terrible, flame of fire, here to devour, blazing, swing low, please save me, from all the ones that hate me, the Israelites stay patient, returning home to our nation, chariot, cruise control, look at the glow, amazing, terrible, flame of fire, here to devour, blazing, swing low, please save me, from all the ones that hate me, the Israelites stay patient, returning home to our nation.
Used to ride 85 in the box Chevy. Then my Bible came alive, scriptures knocking heavy. 215s, now it's 316s. But I'm talking about Habakkuk, man, cause you Christians crazy. All I do is think of Jude Troop 1989. Now all I see is troops cause of 1969. Flames coming soon, all I see is turpentine. But I can barely see no evil, I'm legally blind. See no evil, fit no ego, love of money, root of evil. Humpback, eye of needle, crooked letters, spell I eat them. Neglect must I never feed them. Thoroughbreds, I gotta breed them. Brilliant minds, I gotta free them. Some can't go, I gotta leave them. Extraterrestrial, pray I become celestial. Extraterrestrial, pray I become celestial. Rizzle,
Cherry, cruise control, look at the glow, amazing, terrible, flame of fire, here to devour, blazing, swing low, please save me, from all the ones that hate me, the Israelites stay patient, returning home to our nation, chariot, cruise control, look at the glow, amazing, terrible, flame of fire, here to devour, blazing, swing low, please save me, from all the ones that hate me, the Israelites stay patient, returning home to our nation, end to end, cut off the thief, I can't take it here, forever dead and paying dividends, reparation to Jerusalem, for everything that they stole from there, and all the lies that they sold us here, take me home flying through the air, the speed of light is your first gift, the firmament about to crack it, Leviathan release the kraken, the angels here to get it cracking. I'm leaving it all, no packing. No lots wiped, not looking backwards. Let my people go from their shackles. We beat the nation down to a fraction. And my God about action. Black as a cold. Ruling the globe. This ain't new to my people, we heard it before. The sheep hear his voice and they instantly know this is our independence, yeah, we got to go. Wow, more than conquerors, fight every trial. Know thou no waste, the timing is now. Pow, space age prophet. Yeah, it's going down. Yeah, it's going down. Just wait for the crown. Judah is bold as a lion. Hey, drop me off in Mount Zion. Hey, teleport to pass the time. Hey, the Israelites, we about to shine. Babylon, Babylon, burn to the ground. Listen up for them trumpet to sign. Them chariots fly. Chariot, cruise control. Look at the glow, amazing. Cherubim, flame of fire, here to devour, blazing. Swing low, please save me from all the ones that hate me. The Israelites stay patient, returning home to our nation. Chariot, cruise control, look at the glow, amazing. Cherubim, flame of fire, here to devour, blazing. Swing low, please save me from all the ones that hate me. The Israelites stay patient, returning home to our nation.
Slave ship to the spaceship that's fly. Share your beams you see in the sky. Scariest thing you seen with your eyes. There's niggas and fringes that look like God. Black as the image Ezekiel saw. Angelic creatures don't look like a dog. Four heads, never heard one of them bar. Got a whole lot to say, where do I start? Precepts. Dust on my shoulder, I need swept. Isaiah 60, they need help. The build of these walls, foundation and all, and they about to get it. Soon as I get home, yeah, they about to get it. You wanna get on and get in the spirit. Sauce in this dripping, ain't looking for chickens. Be strong in the Lord, pop power with the spinach. I'm living whenever my people get shot down in the streets. Zechariah was a beast, prophesying in the east. It's going down to say the least. The leaven rise, that's the yeast, it's sending our members. When Babylon fall, you're the timber. Christ called us the snow in December. Captives, read his word and remember. Greatest people on the earth. I know that it hurts. Mama been crying, brothers been dying. Where's the mirth? It ain't in the church. You heard it here first. My people, God's only chosen. Holy is heaven, chairs, then we rolling. Gone.
Chariot, cruise control. Look at the glow, amazing. Cherubim, flame of fire, here to devour, blazing. Swing low, please save me from all the ones that hate me. The Israelites stay patient, returning home to our nation. Chariot, cruise control. Look at the glow, amazing. Cherubim, flame of fire, here to devour, blazing. Swing low, please save me from all the ones that hate me. The Israelites stay patient, returning home to our nation.
You're listening to In the Scripts Reloaded.
We are back.
We're back
for the second half of this show. They can't cancel the truth.
That's right.
Can't happen. The word of God will not come back void. It will accomplish everything it's supposed to accomplish. And y'all slipped up. The Most High said, ha ha, got you.
Got him.
Right.
Got him.
Right.
All right, so we're going to start off, because we got an hour, but we're going to dig into this Semitic side. Again, for the last few weeks, we've been dealing with this Semitic anti-Semitism, so forth and so on. So we're going to touch into the history of it, right? We just going to go straight in. Let's go to, now, we're going to bring out a couple of videos. Bishop touched on some stuff, right? Bishop, Deacon Ithon, they touch on stuff, and they go, I can't tie their shoes, right? I'm gonna just be 100. I can't tie their shoes to the stuff they bring out, you know. But let's watch this video that Bishop brought up historically, and it's dealing with the Jews and the history of the Jews. Let's play that. And this is from the Shout Out Tuesday.
All right. We have the history of the Jews from the destruction of Jerusalem to the present time. This book was published in 1818. What I'm going to show you, because I know a lot of you got questions about the so-called white man that calls himself Jewish. Does this book, published in 1818, discuss them? Let's see. I'm going over to page 167, chapter 11. Let's go down to the highlighted area. The 8th century is, I'm here. The 8th century is celebrated by Jewish writers for the conversion of Khazar. Some books call these people Khazars. Okay, but it's talking about the conversion of the white man to being Jewish. The conversion of Khazar, a pagan prince, to their belief. According to their accounts, he became dissatisfied with the religion of his people and progenitors, meaning forefathers, and conversed on this subject with philosophers, Christians, Mohammedans, meaning Muslims, and Jews. These Jews are black Jews. At length, a learned rabbi convinced him that Judaism was the only true religion, to which all others were but as the shadow to the substance, or the picture to the living original. Kozar, therefore, abjured his former tenets, and after he was initiated in the belief and ceremonies of the Jews, employed himself in converting his subjects. Look at this. He sent for the most learned men of this nation from all countries to instruct his people. And from that time, the original Jews were held in high estimation. So this book is giving you the history of the white man converting to becoming a Jew. Now continue watching, pay close attention. All right, this is The Jews, a Study of Race and Environment by Maurice Fishberg. This was published in 1911. Notice page 64. All right, it says, these fair-haired Jews created a problem for anthropologists. It is a question whence these Indo-Germanic Jews, as Virchow called them, have found their way into the midst of a dark complexioned race like the Jews. Wow. So the scholars know the original Jews were dark complexion, meaning black. All right. Light and Truth, collected from the Bible in ancient and modern history, containing the universal history of the colored and the Indian race from the creation of the world to the present time, by R.B. Robert Benjamin Lewis. I'm going to page 354 in this book. Y'all know I really like this book here. And we're going to read about Jeremiah. I'm starting right here. Jeremiah the prophet was the son of Hilkiah. The words of Jeremiah to his friends. Thus saith the prophet, chapter 8, verse 21, I am black. Here he describes himself to be black. Lamentations chapter 5, verse 10, our skin was black like an oven, meaning burned in a furnace. Here he describes his people. They are black unto or on the ground, mourning because of the terrible famine. Jeremiah 14, that's verse 2. Our necks are under persecution. We labor and have no rest. We have given the hand to the Egyptians, meaning our slave masters, and to the Assyrians, another slave master, to be satisfied with bread. So this book shows you that they knew, according to the scriptures, the Israelites were, are, and will always be a black people. Fact.
That's right.
Commentaries on Hebrew and Christian mythology by Judge Parrish B.
Hey,
good stuff right there.
All right.
Hey, that's what am I supposed to? He pulling the Bishop has books upon books upon books of this information. This is he wakes up and drinks this information like water. So all praises to the Most High for putting the Spirit on him to receive understanding and reading these books and being able to tie it back to the scriptures after years and years of experience in the scriptures. So there's no way to break that down any better than that, and to show that in 1818, a red Amalekite Israeli wrote in a book that his people converted from their pagan religion to the religion of the true Jews. And that the Jews were a dark-skinned people, not white. That's right. Say no more.
So if you would have wrote that same thing on Facebook today, they would have called you anti-Semitic.
Anti-Semitic,
right? You would have
right.
got that message to say this goes against community guidelines.
Right.
So they kicked you off.
Anti-Semitic. Nothing. Okay, cool. So let's go through this. Let's go through this this history of the Semites, and what Bishop was bringing out is pertaining to John Hyrcanus. So in the 8th century, the Khazarians, they had converted, right? That was at that time. But before that, during the time of the Maccabees, under John Hyrcanus, we say Hyrcanus, but it's spelled Hyrcanus, forced a conversion of them, which is how you got Herod and the then Negroes calling themselves the Herodians, following after him, having alliance and allegiance with him. But that's how you got Herod and that whole group that came up that began to call themselves Jewish. So those are conversions that happened, and that's written in history and it's written in the Bible. So can't nobody refute that information. But let's look at the bloodline of the Semites, though. Let's deal with that.
This is the lineage of the Semitic, of relating to or constituting a subfamily of the Afro-Asiatic language family that includes Hebrew, Aramaic, Arabic, and Amharic.
Amharic. Now, Amharic goes into Ethiopia. The Falasha people of Ethiopia speak Amharic. Amharic is a language, but when you meet an Ethiopian, a lot of times they'll tell you that they're either Amharic, they'll tell you that they're Tigray, or they'll tell you that they are Oromo. Those are your 3 largest groups in Ethiopia. But Amharic is a language. So you have Hamitic Amharic, and then you have Semitic Amharic. And the Semitic Amharics are the ones they call the Falashas. That's the Falashas. All right? So let's start with Shem.
Shem.
Mm-hmm. And that's of the 3 sons of Noah, right? Go ahead.
Arphaxad.
Go ahead and read that about Ham, man. Let's dead that about when people be thinking that we Egyptians.
Right.
Let's dead that.
Right. From the reference, the Zondervan Bible Dictionary. Ham, the youngest son of Noah, born probably about 96 years before the flood, and one of the 8 persons to live through the flood. He became the progenitor of the dark races.
Of the dark races, people of color, black people. Go ahead.
Not the Negroes.
But not us. Not us. We are not Egyptians.
Right.
Y'all running around talking about gods of the earth and, gods in earth. Y'all running around talking about Egyptology, Amun-Ra, and Ptah, and all of this type of stuff. Bruh, those were our oppressors. We are not those people. We do not come from the same bloodline. In fact, the Bible calls them dogs. Bring that out. Bring that out.
Exodus.
Yep.
11:7.
Bring that up. God calls these people dogs.
The book of Exodus, chapter 11 and verse 7. But against any of the children of Israel shall not a dog move his tongue.
Against any of the children of Israel shall not a dog speak. Don't speak against the children of Israel. Read.
Against man or beast, that you may know how that the Lord doeth put a difference between the Egyptians and Israel.
The Bible teaches us that God put a difference between the Egyptians and the Israelites. We are not no Egyptians. We are not Hamitic. We are Shemitic.
That's right.
That's right.
Let it seep. Let the butter work down into the popcorn. Or butter that biscuit.
Right.
As how Bishop say.
Let the butter marinate in that biscuit.
Put some butter in that biscuit, man.
Right.
We are Semitic. You cannot be anti-Semitic because that's the bloodline that you come from if you're watching this broadcast. Right. You are Semitic. Ye and Kyrie are correct.
That's right.
That is our lineage. Stop sleeping on it and despising it.
Right.
All right. Now, Job talked about some dogs too. Let's go to Job. Job chapter 30 and verse 1. Job chapter 30 and verse 1. So here's another set of dogs in the Bible.
The book of Job, chapter 30 and verse 1. But now they that are younger than I, but now they that are younger than I have me in derision, whose fathers I would have disdained to have set with the dogs of my flock.
Job said, their forefathers, I wouldn't even want to sit with my dogs. That's how pitiful this group of people that Job is speaking of right here. Go ahead.
Yea, whereto might the strength of their hands profit me, and in whom old age was perished.
So let's jump that. Let's verse 4.
Verse 4. Who cut up mallows by the bushes and juniper roots for their meat. They were driven forth from among men. They cried after them as after a thief.
When did this happen, y'all? What is this talking about? Bishop done brought it out 1,000 times. What is this going into?
Going into the dark ages.
It's going into the dark ages. Specifically what? What happened?
Let me think of his name. I got John Hyrcanus on my mind for a minute, but it's
Septimus.
Septimius
There you go.
Septimius Severus, and we ruled Europe for 1,000 years.
When we came into Europe, when we took over Europe, those were Semitic people. When you read starting in 193 AD, Septimius Severus, who was a Negro.
That's right.
If you look him up, they're going to tell you that he was the first African general or conqueror of Rome. We are the ones that knocked Rome down after the Caesars. We took them, behind them, we took over, and we ruled through all of that for 1,000 years.
Right.
Job is prophesying about that time. We ran them. What does it say we ran them? It says they were driven forth from among men. They cried after them as after a thief. Why? Because they were thieves. They have always been thieves. But where do we run them into?
To dwell in the cliffs of the valleys.
And the Caucasus Mountain.
Rocks.
And the Caucasus Mountains
Georgia, Russia.
of Georgia, Russia. We ran them into the mountains until they hid and did not want to come out for terror.
Right.
That's what this is going into. So when we read in verse 1, those people that we did this to, the Bible called them, it said that they couldn't even sit with our dogs. Now, in Matthew chapter 15, the Syrophoenician woman, who was a Greek, who was an Edomite, was called a dog.
Right.
Christ, and she said, yes, I am a dog, my Lord, but even the master feeds his dogs from the crumbs of his table.
Right.
She acknowledged that she was a dog.
And you know what's the part about that is that when people read that, they think that she gonna get salvation. But go to Revelations 22 and 14.
Bring it out.
And read the 15. Let's
Bring
set
it
the
out.
record straight. Them dogs ain't getting to the kingdom.
That's right.
They're gonna be outside those gates. That's right. Read that for me.
Revelation chapter 22 and verse 14. Blessed are they that do his commandments, that they may have right to the tree of life, and may enter in through the gates into the city. For without are dogs.
Read that again.
For without are dogs.
That's the other nations.
That's right.
Keep reading.
And sorcerers, and whoremongers, and murderers, and idolaters, and whosoever loveth and maketh a lie.
Like them Jewish folks, them dogs.
That's right.
They love making them lies. That's blasphemy. You ain't no Jew.
That's right. I can't hear you.
My bad. It was more on Job 30. You want to finish that?
Yeah.
The book of Job, chapter 30 and verse 6.
to dwell in the cliffs of the valley, in caves of the earth,
Cavemen, go ahead.
and in the rocks,
These were Neanderthals, the damn cavemen. Go ahead.
among the bushes they brayed, under the nettles they were gathered together. They were children of fools.
They were children of fools, evil, thoughtless, sinful people. People that had no good in them. God called them worse and lower than the dogs. We wouldn't even let them sit with our dogs. When you read in that book, the 13th tribe, it said that they would sit up and pick the lice off of themselves and love to crack the lice between their teeth.
Snap, crackle, and pop.
Snap, crackle, and pop.
right.
This is the dogs that God is calling them. The same one in Matthew chapter 15 that said, yea, Lord, I am a dog.
Right.
They know who they are. So we are not Hamites, which God called dogs. We are not Edomites, who God called dogs. And the Edomites are not Jews.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
They were children of fools. Yea, children of base men.
Base men, the lowest of low. They were the children of base men. Read.
They were viler than the earth.
And more vile than the earth itself. Filthy, repugnant, nasty, dirty, troglodytes.
Right.
Is what they were. All praises to the Most High. So let's go back to the chart. Let's finish looking at this chart. So we see we got Shem. For those that don't understand, everybody that you see highlighted in yellow, it doesn't mean that they didn't have brothers or sisters. and namely brothers, because the seed goes through the man. What this is showing you is who the righteous seed passed through to bring us all the way to the time of our forefather, Jacob. Abraham to Isaac and to Jacob. Go ahead. Now, let's read those names.
The lineage of Shem. Shem,
Arphaxad,
Salah, Eber,
Peleg.
Bring it up. Reu, Serug, Nahor.
Now, Nahor was the father of Lot. Lot was Abraham's nephew. Lot had 2 sons, and those sons were named Moab and Ammon. Moab and Ammon today, Moab would be your Chinese people. Ammon is your Japanese people, meaning your Chinese and Japanese also are Semitic. Do not be fooled into believing that these people are the only Semites on earth. You are not anti-Semitic, black, Hispanic, and Native American people. You are the Semites that God called his chosen people, Israel.
Right.
Keep reading.
Nahor, Terah, Abraham, Isaac. Come on up. And Jacob.
So if you notice right there, the Nahor that I read, let me back up because I don't want to be wrong in speech. The Nahor that is above Abraham would be Abraham's grandfather, but to the left of Abraham is Nahor, the father of Lot. All right, so that you understand. But the chosen seed is those that are in yellow. So I'm not saying that Nahor, the father of Moab and Ammon, was a chosen seed or a man that God chose in the bloodline of the Semitic people. All right. So strike that down. That's not what I'm saying.
Right.
All right. So you had Abraham and then who?
Isaac.
And then in Isaac. So we read that in the book of Genesis, chapter 19. It tells you that Isaac would be the chosen seed, not Ishmael. Ishmael is the forefather of the Arabian people who are also Semitic, yet they are not the chosen seed. And from Isaac, who?
Jacob.
Jacob. And from Jacob comes the 12 tribes of the children of Jacob. We are known as the Israelites.
Right.
Jacob's name was changed to Israel. You read that in Genesis chapter 32, verse 28. His name was changed to Israel, meaning a prince having power with God. So our power is God. It is not money. It is not weapons. It is not voting and government. Our power is God. And it is time for the Semitic people chosen by God to stand up and turn back to God so we fall back into our rulership.
Right.
That's why they don't want you calling yourself Semitic, so that you never think that you're greater and better than them, which God said you are. Give me that in Deuteronomy chapter 7.
Bring it out.
God said you are better than all men on the face of the earth. That's why they want to claim to be the only Semitic people, because that's our birthright.
Deuteronomy chapter 7 and verse 6. For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God have chosen thee to be a special people unto himself.
So we are a chosen people unto God. Read.
Above
Where?
Above
Below?
all people. Above.
Equal to?
Above.
Above. Meaning over. Better than. Chosen. Read.
Above all people that are upon the face of the earth.
That's the facts. That's why they don't want you calling yourself Semitic. That's why when Ye and Kyrie are saying that we can't be anti-Semitic because we know who we are, that's why they don't want you, black, Hispanic, and Native American man, to call yourself Semitic. They don't want you to wake up to that truth, because when you do, then you will bethink yourself, and you might begin to keep the commandments of God from seeing your teachers in the streets telling you, women, take off pants. Men, stop having sex with these women. Put the pork down. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. Stop killing. Stop making drill music causing you to be hateful and have hatred towards your people.
Right.
They don't want that to stop. That's anti-Semitism in its purest form.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
I'm just going to say, just for the new people that's listening, write some of these precepts down, mark it in your Bible, you know?
Right.
And just keep learning, continue to learn, continue to keep the commandments of God.
That's right.
That's how we get the kingdom.
That's right. So it's interesting because biblically, give me Psalms 49, as a matter of fact. Psalms 49. Because there's something, have y'all noticed that whenever we're reading through certain things, you'll find people that have names And okay, like the name Septimius Severus, right? Why would his name be Septimius Severus? Why would he be called Septimius Severus?
He took after the name of the language and the land that he lived.
Very excellent. There you go. So what happened is when we were set in certain places, we would also take on names. Like when you read, as a matter of fact, remember how weird it was for John to be called John? Everybody was like, why would you, ain't nobody ever been born amongst our people called John. Why would you call his name John? It's because we were under Roman captivity at the time. So we started taking on names that were not Hebrew names or names that our forefathers held on to, right?
Like what we do today.
Just like what we do today.
Right.
Exactly.
Like Keisha and Trayvon and
Taquan
and these type of names.
Right. And these people so much so wanted to be us that they knew that their names could never live, because our names end with L and Al and Yah and all of these types of things. But they would change their names, and it shows that they are not the people because they have a practice of changing their names in order to hide themselves out. And we're going to bring, historically, this is what they do, right? Stan Lee, his name wasn't Stan Lee, but that's what you know him as today. But that's an anglicized last name, right? But they did it to us, and these people, these the red Amalekite Israelis, would do it so that they could hide their identity, but we had ours snatched from us. We fit those curses. Read that, Psalms 49:11.
Psalms chapter 49 and verse 11. Their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever.
So they thought in their mind that their house, that their race, their lineages would last forever. They thought God was on their side because they saw the great punishment that God brought against us. So it says in in Psalms 50, it says they thought that I was all together as one of them. Yeah, right. But he said, I'm not with y'all. This is a prophecy that I spoke, so it has to come forth. But I'm going to deal with y'all later. But they thought in their minds that their time would never end. Go ahead.
And their dwelling places to all generations.
And that every place that they robbed and took, since they were given that blessing of the fatness of the earth, that it would last to all of their generations. That's why when you read in Wisdom of Solomon chapter 2, it says, come let each one of us have our fill of voluptuousness. Because that was their blessing, was to have all of the best, the fatness of the earth, right? Go ahead.
They call their lands after their own names.
So when we read here, they called their lands after their own name. So America was not called America. It wasn't known as Arzareth to us. These are names that they put on. And they would go to places and they would change places to fit their names. Judea was not the name of our land originally. They changed it to that. Egypt was not the name. It was called Mizraim from the beginning.
Right.
When you read in the book of Genesis, they were the children of Mizraim. Right? So they would go and put their names on places, but there's something else they would do. In the book of Josephus, y'all remember what Josephus said that they would do also? They would also take the names of some of the places and just claim that name to be themselves.
Right.
They would take on names in order to help disguise themselves.
Right.
I'm going to show you something. Go to Genesis chapter 4, verse 7.
Bring it out. Pull up that next, let's pull up the article and have it prepared.
We talking about Esau right here, saying that, you know, they named the lands after their own names. Mm-hmm. Let's see who else did that in history. Read.
The book of Genesis, chapter 4 and verse 7. Mm-hmm. If thou doest well, shalt thou not be accepted? And if thou doest not well, sin.
Is that what I wanted? Is that what I said?
Yes, sir.
Genesis 4 and 7?
Yeah, you said 4 and 7.
I might be wrong. Hold on.
Right.
Yeah, 17, my bad.
Okay.
17.
The book of Genesis, chapter 4 and verse 17. And Cain knew his wife.
And who?
Cain knew his wife.
Cain killed Abel. Right? So Cain is actually that same spirit that's in Esau today.
Right.
Read on.
And she conceived. And bare Enoch. And he builded a city and called the name of the city after the name of his son.
You see that? He said he built a city and called it the name after his son. Who?
Enoch.
So that's the same spirit that Esau has today. They named their lands after their own name.
Right.
Excellent point. Excellent point.
That was a cold priest.
That's right. Yeah, all AV got for us tonight is bombs, bro. Thank you, AV. We appreciate the bombs, though. We do appreciate that. We appreciate that. So let's go into this. Because there was a practice with the red Amalekite Israelis, the nominals, meaning they fake, that they would take on other names in order to try to disguise themselves. But like the Most High said, he going to make their mouth fall on themselves, right? Mm-hmm. So let's read this.
Didn't you used to be someone else?
The article is, didn't you used to be someone else? Wait a minute. Is this you?
Hey, really, though, we could drop the mic right there.
Right.
It's a wrap on us.
Right.
They don't stand a chance.
Yeah. Right. Hey, and this came from The Guardian, and I had to dig way back to find this. This came out like 80s or 90s when they wrote this article. Yeah. This is 80s or 90s when they wrote this article. All right. Yeah, all right, go ahead. Let's read through this. So, didn't you used to be someone else is the question that they asking. Go ahead.
Lord Hamlin found it tough having the name Hamburger as a kid.
So, Lord Hamlin's name was Hamburger, right?
I would find that tough, too. I would.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So he got clowned every day.
Hey, in our school, you got whooped, right?
Right.
Hamburger, right? You'd have been fighting for sure.
Yeah, he had to fight.
So, Lord Hamlin is what he changed it to, but you see, Hamburger. Go ahead.
So, he changed it. He is not alone. John Ronson, whose great-grandfather dropped a letter or two himself, asks why so many Jews westernized their names.
Why so many what?
So many Jews westernized their names.
These are the false ones. Notice this says that they westernized their names. The Bible says if they were the real ones, that their names would have been taken from them. They would not have had a choice to change their name so that they could go by another name because it was too many letters and too hard to pronounce, or it was causing you to be made fun of. No, they didn't lose their names by force. The Bible says that the real ones would lose. Give me that in Jeremiah.
Right.
Bring it out.
Yes, somebody bring that out. Bring that Jeremiah out. This is a sign that they are not the true Jews because they had a choice to change their names. Go ahead.
I got you.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 5.
No, 17 and 4. I got it. Yeah. The book of Jeremiah, chapter 17 and verse 4. And thou, even thyself, shalt discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee. And I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in a land which thou knowest not. For ye have kindled a fire in mine anger, which shall burn forever.
So basically, we will lose our heritage. And what comes with a heritage? Your name.
Mm-hmm.
Your name comes with a heritage. Can I get a precept for this?
Yes, sir.
Give me Isaiah 65:15.
Mm-hmm.
Praise.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 65 and verse 15. And ye shall leave your name for a curse.
You will leave your name for a curse. You will be discontinued from your heritage that God gave you. You will no longer call yourself Israel. You will no longer go by the names that our forefathers had. You will go by these English names or these crews and names from the conquistadors.
Right.
You will no longer go by the name of Israel. Come on.
And ye shall leave your name for a curse unto my chosen.
Unto his chosen. We are the chosen people of God, the children of Israel, not these so-called Jewish people, the Amalekites. Come on.
For the Lord God shall slay thee and call his servants by another name.
And that's what happened. We were slain as a people through the curses in Deuteronomy 28th chapter. And he called us by another name, being an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword.
That's right.
Hey, also notice too, the scripture say we'll leave our name for a curse.
Right.
When they change their name, they not cursed with those names that they change theirs to.
Right.
Like Stan Lee, everybody know that name. That's not a curse.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
They left that name for a blessing. They got larger benefits and more fame and things like that when they change their name.
Right.
That's a good point.
Because we can't change our name and hide. Changing our name does not make. I can call myself Flegenheimer, and it ain't gonna change nothing when they look at me, bro.
Right.
That was the name of Dutch Schultz, by the way. Arthur Flegenheimer.
Hey, they'll call you when they see your resume, but when they hear you sound black, that's it.
Yeah, right. They're gonna be like,
Hey, look at Karen. Whoopi Goldberg. She had changed her name.
Man,
She
right.
still got called anti-Semitic.
Right. So these are nominals. These are fake because they westernized their names. All right, let's go ahead and finish reading that.
So, Lord Hamlin, the publicly shy 2 million pound labor donor, was once Mr. Hamburger. He changed his name at 18. It was really tough for a kid being called Hamburger, he said.
So only read the yellow parts. Go ahead.
In transforming himself into Hamlin, of course, Mr. Hamburger joined a long tradition of Jews giving themselves innocuous, breezy, Western surnames.
He said they did what?
Giving themselves innocuous.
They gave themselves innocuous, breezy, Western names. Surnames.
Real quick, we got to clap for Officer Jacob because he pronounced the hell out of that.
Hey, Officer Kashad, you're a fire.
Right.
Now, hey, shout out to Kashad. All praise that. We miss you. Yeah, we miss you, bro. We miss you.
On your day off.
Right. All right, jump down to the next yellow piece.
Back then, Cardiff was a mini Ellis Island, a city built on immigration, burgeoning with boatloads of Irish refugees from the potato famine, Italians escaping whatever it was they were escaping, and Eastern European Jews fleeing the pogroms.
Fleeing the pogroms. So now let's look up those, because first, look up Cardiff. Let's see what Cardiff is. Because what it's telling you is that you had here many people. It was the mini Ellis Island. And you would have people that went through Cardiff and they would change their names in Cardiff because it was easier to change it there than getting to America and having to go through a bunch of paperwork, right? Hey, can y'all pull up Cardiff for me? Nah, don't even worry about it. Don't even worry about what Cardiff is. Pogroms is tribulations, trials, or things that they went through. That's because you hear them talk about that when it comes to the Holocaust. Mm-hmm. They call it a pogrom. So it means a tribulation or a persecution. That's what it means. So
hey, not to veer off, but how can they get a chance? How do they get the right to claim that Holocaust? Because every time when you hear Holocaust, you think of them. Mm-hmm. But then Gad go through a Holocaust. Then we go through a Holocaust. Right. They about to celebrate the Holocaust of Gad, the Native American Indians, Thursday.
A couple of days, right.
And they got the nerve to call somebody anti-Semitic. Right. You about to eat turkey.
Point. Right.
What about that Holocaust?
Yeah, that's an excellent point.
So for those that's against what they've been doing to our brother Kyrie and Ye, they've been calling them anti-Semitic. If you celebrate Thanksgiving, you anti-Semitic.
You anti-Semitic.
Right. Hey, let's make it a declaration. Let's issue a challenge to the people.
Right.
If you agree that Kyrie and Kanye have been being done wrong, do not put a fork of turkey in your mouth on Thursday.
That's right.
We don't want to see no stuffing.
Right.
We don't want to see no cranberry sauce, no chitlins, none of that. We not celebrating Thanksgiving, especially a brother like myself from the tribe of Gad. I find that to be very offensive. That you celebrating 200 million of my fathers being destroyed.
Right.
Absolutely not. We're not celebrating that foolishness no more.
Hey, as a matter of fact, the challenge will go further. Thursday, instead of going and eating that turkey and dressing and saying you just doing it for your family, find the nearest school, IUIC school near you, and make the phone calls and find out how to connect with us.
Right.
Bring your behind in here so you can begin to learn and get away from keeping the customs and being anti-Semitic against your brothers.
Right.
Let's read this. So, pogrom, real quick. An organized massacre of a particular ethnic group. That's a pogrom. That's what it is.
So Thanksgiving is a pogrom.
Thanksgiving is a pogrom. Go ahead.
Back then, Cardiff was a mini Ellis Island, a city built on immigration, burgeoning with boatloads of Irish refugees from the potato famine, Italians escaping whatever it was they were escaping, and Eastern European Jews fleeing the pogroms.
Now, so that y'all know, Cardiff is in the UK. So they would flee through Europe and other European cities, but Cardiff was a main one. That's why they said it's like a mini Ellis Island. If you were coming from Poland, Hungary, or any of those areas of Russia to come through there, you came through Cardiff in order to make it into America. There's some stories of them going through Italy as well and adopting Italian names. There's a book that I'm trying to get. Today, man, I got resources of people that are connected to some of these spots, and these brothers were telling me, bro, they got I looked and saw what that book is. That book is tucked away on this floor, and people don't really go into that floor and touch these books because it's talking about a certain group of people that came through Italy.
Wow.
And the names, it seems, may have been changed that because they came from over there but called themselves this. Right here, even in this article, it says, burgeoning with boatloads of Irish refugees from the potato famine. Potato people. But we know Ireland had a bunch of Jewish people in it. We know Scotland. There's a book that Deacon Ithon brought out when Scotland was Jewish. all of these have names like McCormick's and all of this,
right?
Which are not the names that we know. Why? Right. Because they changed those names in those lands and then came to America.
Right. Hey, also, so when you got those black migrants that are trying to get into Israel and they shipping them out, they being some damn hypocrites.
Right. Absolutely.
That's facts.
All right, go ahead with that.
Such was the length of the queues and the mountains of paperwork. The understaffed immigration officers used to routinely take it upon themselves to swipe off superfluous vowels in outlandish alien clusters such as Vitch or Stein.
So this is them changing their names, taking off the Vitch and the Steins off of the name because they were saying that's too heavy, it's too long. We're going to help you switch that. The reality is he's going to tell us later on in this article why it was done. Jump down. I can't help
thinking, however, that this isn't how it happened at all.
He's telling us this is not how it happened. Because when you read up in the article, he gave this beautiful story. My great-grandfather really... No, he said, look, I got to be 100. They didn't do it because of all of this beautiful, poetic stuff. No, they did it to hide out. Go ahead.
The fact is, those two A's must have felt like inauspicious appendages to him. Mm-hmm. All he wanted to do was fit in, become a success in business without appearing to his associates like an exotic creature from overseas. How would I have felt had those two A's remained? Like a freak with two A's at the beginning of my name.
He despises his name. That's not a Jew. That's not the way of the Jews. The way of the Jews, the name God gave me, I love that name. I don't despise that name, no matter how many A's and whatever is in it.
Right.
I'm going to take that L or that Yah on that name. I love that thing.
Put the L on my name.
Put the L on my name, bruh. Go ahead.
I would, of course, have been first in every list. My name called out right at the beginning of every school assembly. A burden for the tardy young Ronson who didn't like to stand out in a crowd.
His name was a burden for him. Go ahead.
I would have felt like Israel must have felt foreign. I like being a Ronson. I like its sort of Jewishness.
He's telling you he's Jewish because he's saying Ronson isn't the real name. Right. I like that Jewishness. Why? Because he's Jewish. He's a red Amalekite Israeli.
Right.
Go ahead.
What the hell is this?
I can be a Jew like Gerald and a beautiful Aryan glam rock star like Mick. I like the way the R slips in unnoticed somewhere in the last third of the alphabet. Mm-hmm. It is a very Jewish place to be in the alphabet. Mm-hmm. My favorite quote about 20th century Jewish assimilation is something from Philip Roth once said about Irving Berlin, the composer of Easter Parade and White Christmas.
So it was a Jewish man who came up with, he was the composer of Easter Parade and White Christmas. It had nothing to do with Christians or God.
The hell is this?
Wow.
Jewish pushed Christmas and Easter.
And they supposedly don't believe in Christ.
Right.
Have you celebrating that while they celebrate Hanukkah, the Feast of Dedication.
Right.
And they ain't even doing that right.
Yeah. Right. This is the nominals. This is what they do. Go ahead.
Right. After Moses, Roth said, the next great Jewish genius was Irving Berlin.
After Moses. So who is he denying?
Christ. Before Christ, he's denying Ezekiel and Daniel and Isaiah and Jeremiah and Job and so on and so forth. After Moses just jumped to Mr. Berlin?
So because remember, they only believe in the first 5 books. That's why I say they don't even go into anything beyond Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy. Anything past the Torah, they don't deal with it. Why? Because all of those prophecies. Now, we know it came out that their favorite book to study is the book of Obadiah. They know that that's them. Right. They know that. But they never mention Ezekiel and all of that. You'll find them with those names, but they never stand on that. Why? Because they stand on the Torah, the Talmud, the Babylonian Talmud, and the Kabbalah.
Right. That Talmud got some wicked stuff in it, bro.
Absolutely.
Wicked. If they ever, I hope they see me on the streets because I'm bringing that Talmud out on their ass.
Right. I finished reading it?
Bring it out.
He took Easter, took the blood out of it, and made it about fashion.
He made Easter. So it's telling you that the red Amalekite Israelis are the ones that made Easter fashionable. Has nothing to do with Christ.
Check it out. They say they made it about fashion. So that's why you see Negroes with the down Sunday suit or the Easter suit.
That's
on.
why.
That'd be their best suit in their closet. They would save that for Easter.
Right. So what did they do? They tainted our religion and made it a culture. So now we got to get dressed up. They took our music, our poetry, our ability to write scripts and all of that. And all of that, they created the culture and then fed it back to us after hijacking it.
Wow.
None of this is ours. Go ahead.
He took Christmas, took Christ out of it, and made it about the weather. Irving Berlin, by the way, was born Israel Balin.
His name is Israel Balin. And he changed the name Israel, meaning having power with God, to Irving.
Wow.
The hell is this?
These are nominals, people. These are not the children of God. You are the Jew.
That's
we are Israel.
Right.
We are Semitic. Keep reading.
I have a childhood memory of my parents taking me to our local cinema in Cardiff to spot the Jews among the movie stars. Some were easy, of course. Mel Brooks.
Mel Brooks. Why is his name Mel Brooks? That's not a Jewish name. Go ahead.
Woody Allen.
Woody Allen is not a Jewish name.
The Marx Brothers. Possibly Groucho and Harpo. No question. Chico was presumably Roman Catholic.
This is a Jewish man that was Catholic.
Wow.
The hell is this?
Let's go to the next page. Do I got one more page on there?
Anybody else think about the color purple when they seen Harpo?
Man. I got 2 more pages, y'all. We got 8 minutes. Yep. Let's read this. Yeah.
Unfortunately, in our sunshiny attempts of mingling with the Gentiles, we have unintentionally helped to create the myth of a shadowy cabal. We Jews who camouflage ourselves.
They did what?
Camouflage ourselves.
They hid themselves out. They did it. The damn devil. Deceitful. Right. I don't want you to know that I've been the devil in every place that I've been in the world. Let me change my name, come in, and undercut you and take over everything from the inside out with this fake name.
Right.
You'll never know that I'm the damn devil that the Bible speak of. Right. He's telling you, we camouflaged our names. Right. Go ahead.
The camouflage is mistaken for scheming by anti-Semites, as if we're concealing something sinister, when in fact we are just hopelessly in love with the camouflage.
They are hopelessly.
So we just in the show.
These people is comical, bro.
Bruh.
What in the?
He's writing this about himself.
Hey, he know he evil as hell, because why would you even put that in there if that's the case?
He practicing reverse psychology.
Right.
Because he knows the real reason, but he gonna throw it out there and say, nah, that ain't really what it is.
Right. Let's read that last one.
Vile, she reportedly said, then you will be the best Vaughn there ever was. Others are more direct in their explanations. Lawrence Harvey Ziegler was too Jewish, so he became Larry King.
Larry King's name is not Larry King. Damn. Y'all know who Larry King is?
Yeah, the night show host or whatever.
The night show host. His name is Lawrence Harvey Ziegler.
And he ain't dead yet?
Nah, he's still hanging on by 3.
The hell he waiting on?
So he became Larry King. Go ahead.
Garrick Weinstein didn't want to be attacked by anti-Semites, so he became Gary Kasparov.
So there you have it. They changed their names to hide, but we didn't have that option.
Right.
All right, let's read this before we go out.
Bring it up, son.
There's the section that's highlighted right there. So start.
The inscriptions?
Yes.
Oh, praise. The inscriptions reveal the names of 517 individuals. I have classified these first according to language. In an earlier paper, I pointed out that the Jews of Rome...
Hey, my bad. Start at the top. Go to our chief sources, because we got to see what's happening there.
Yes, sir. This is from Harry Joshua Leon, University of Texas.
No. Just with our chief sources.
Yes, sir. Our chief sources of information about the life of Jewish community of ancient Rome are the 6 Jewish catacombs which have been found at Rome in the past 70 years, and some 500 inscriptions from these catacombs.
So there's inscriptions in the catacombs at Rome. These are the underground tunnels where they took everything that they took from us, and they're still hiding it out, right? Go ahead.
The present paper is the result of an examination of the proper names which are found in these inscriptions.
So they found some proper names in these inscriptions down there. Go ahead.
The inscriptions reveal the names of 517 individuals. I have classified these first according to language.
According to language.
In an earlier paper, I pointed out that the Jews of Rome were a Greek-speaking community.
So the Jews of Rome spoke Greek.
Right.
Paul.
Yep.
Right.
Canst thou speak Greek?
Right.
Art thou not that Egyptian?
Right.
He looked like an Egyptian, but he spoke Greek.
Right.
And then another time when he's handled and taken in, they like, look, you a Jew? He's like, no. The guy asked him, are you a Roman? He said, hey, is it proper for you to be taking a Roman and handcuffing him and handling him like this? Oh, wait, you a Roman?
Right.
We went by the names of the lands that we were in, and we used it for the purposes like this to be able to move around.
Right.
But also because it was a part of our forced assimilation. It wasn't our, like the other guy was saying, that we just love to be camouflaged. No, it was our forced assimilation to take on other names. Go ahead.
In an earlier paper, I pointed out that the Jews of Rome were a Greek-speaking community, since 3/4 of the inscriptions are in Greek, only 1/4 in Latin, and a negligible few in Hebrew or Aramaic.
Still writing in Hebrew and Aramaic. Go ahead.
Hey, hold up. The reason, just real quick, the reason that we spoke Greek is because before we were in a Roman captivity, we were in a Greco-Roman captivity, and then before that, the Grecian captivity.
And what did the Greeks force us to do?
To speak Rome, to learn all that.
They forced us to call ourselves Greeks. We could not keep our Sabbath days or any of our customs.
Right.
And you even had wicked forefathers of ours who paid money to call themselves Antiochians.
Right.
What the hell is this?
These are the things that we did, and it was forced on us as a curse.
Right.
Go ahead.
It is accordingly interesting to discover that the majority of their names are neither Greek nor Hebrew, but Latin, an indication that the partly Hellenized Jews...
That the partly what?
Hellenized Jews...
The Bible calls them Grecians.
Right.
When you read in Galatians chapter 6, verse 1, it calls them Grecians. These were Jews who spoke Greek, and they were called Grecians. Those are not the other nations. When y'all read that, y'all have been tricked. Y'all pastors have lied. That's all I'm going to say.
It says that in the Zonoman Compact Bible Dictionary as well when you read Grecian.
Yes.
Right. I'm saying even for the proof, if you didn't speak Latin or Grecian, guess what? They called you barbarian.
They called you barbarian.
They speak the language.
Yep. Go ahead.
An indication that the partly Hellenized Jews had, in the city of Rome at least, become Romanized in the names which they bore, rather than in the language which they spoke.
So that's why you find Septimius Severus and others of our brothers being called by those names that are not Hebrew names. Don't be fooled by nobody, y'all, that you got to speak Hebrew. No, our names were changed because we went into all nations of the world through captivity.
Right.
This is what's happening. And these bastards that are now in our land change their names in order to hide themselves and camouflage themselves because they think they can hide from the punishment coming, but they can't hide. God said they gotta go.
That's right.
All right? Hey, we appreciate y'all being in with us, man. We got to close it down, but next week, Lord willing, life lasts, we'll be back with more fire.
Right.
More fire.
That's right.
So subscribe and follow IUIC Dallas. At Instagram, it's at Dallas IUIC. Facebook, at IUIC Dallas. TikTok, at IUIC Dallas. YouTube, at IUIC Dallas. Also, you can donate to IUIC.Dallas@IsraelUnite.org. Help us bring out the books. Donate to the Booster Club to help the prophets continue to spread the gospel to the four corners of the earth. All right? Hey, I pray that y'all gleaned something from today's show, and you are tuned into the script.
Reloaded.